I opened Roslyn's Garden Coffee House. I did that so that the community could have a place where people could come and talk and meet and be able to be free and able to socialize. I created a garden next door that was open for people to come to, and the coffee house. It stayed for 7 years till my mother had a stroke, and then I closed it. When I was growing up, Alberta Street used to be a place I could go watch movies. I could walk in and go shopping, and I just felt that it needed to return back to a community place where people could actually be involved in the community and be able to feel that this was part of their community. And there was a little boy one time when I had music on the patio at the coffee house. He was playing and he was rapping. And so after he finished, I said, I'm impressed. I mean, because there was no foul language, there was nothing. He says, well, I know how to rap for people like you. I said, oh, okay. And I knew then that the community was accepting me, and also that they thought of it as their community and their place.
Communities don't just happen. You really have to work for them. It's all those outrageous people who do such great things that really fill in what happens.
If you live in Northeast, you're blessed because, that front porch represents community, represents family.
We all need to know what the term redlining was, what that means. I didn't know what redlining was. I didn't understand that you couldn't get monies.
Because back then, if the banks and the lending institutions weren't very kind to African Americans.
But in general, the new business owners know no history of Alberta Street. They do not know. They think they're moving into a cute,
trendy,
hip. Yeah, well, I say hip neighborhood, and they buy into that. But they only see their business from here. They walk with blinders from when they get out of the car to go in their door. I think we have to be stronger with the city. I have called the city on numerous things. And it's really interesting because I called them on one thing that just drove me absolutely crazy. And it was a bunch of stuff all over the side on the lawn, and it was free, and it looked like a dumpster. And I called them on it, and they said, well, I've been by there, and that really isn't a problem. I said, okay, so can we do this on Broadway? Can we do this on the Northwest side? Well, no, we have the same law for the whole city. I said, that's not my point. I said, can this be done in those other areas? Well, no, people wouldn't really stand for that. I said, well, then what makes you think we stand for it?
The main themes I hear with this are really the reasons you all came to the community was to bring it back to life, right? It had been disinvested in for a while. There, as they always say, there are great sticks and bricks, a lot of good buildings to invest in, but perhaps not the community-oriented piece. So you brought a lot of love and a lot of sweat equity, resources, and invested a lot to make it the place you wanted to see.
This is our community. We all need to get involved and not just tunnel vision. We need to get involved.
I pretty much knew everyone from probably about 11th in Alberta up to 30th. You knew the business owners, you knew the property owners. I have been in businesses on Alberta Street, and they think that I'm lost. I mean, I've actually had businesses do. I walk in and they go, so can I help you with something? Well, first of all, if you walk into a business, obviously you're in there for a reason. So it's like, I go into a restaurant, when someone says, can I help you with something, I know that they don't want me there. On Alberta Street, the change I've seen is because there's this disconnect between business owners, property owners, residents, and people who come in the street.
The respect you had for the community and that everyone had for one another, and maybe that's something that's changed. I think there's a lot of opportunity going forward, though, to build those kind of relationships. Where we are has so much of an impact on who we are, how we relate to one another, how we care about one another, the mutual support we give to one another, and then whether or not it's just kind of like a place one comes to have a good time. Sometimes in the paper they talk about playground, but these are places where people actually live. They're raising their families, and it isn't that everybody will always have the same values, but, much like any kind of facilitated conversation, it is important to have some common understanding about what values people hold very dear to make sure we are respecting one another.
I'm going to say relationships and leadership are a very important issue. Well, I think the relationship is everything. I think what Roslyn was saying is the disconnect. I don't think those are small issues. I think they are paramount things. It's about how we need, in a very big way, to rethink some of that.
I'm one that believes in building on relationships. I try to get to know people. I try to get to not from where I come from, but where that person who I'm getting to know comes from. What's the background? You know, why you like certain things, why you moved to the area. Because I'm always interested to know why people move to Alberta Street. You know, move to the community and stuff. And I find it's interesting because a lot of them will say, well, we moved here because of the diversity we like to have. You know. To meet different people and experience that. And so then I always look at them and I said, so at your job, do you try to get people who look like you to move to the area with you, or do you reach out and get people that don't look like you to move in the area? And it's interesting because they said, well, I never quite thought of that. And I said, well, if you continue to get people who look like you, you're not going to have a diverse community. You know, it just won't work that way.
If we spend money with the businesses that are on Alberta and Northeast Portland, with the realtors, with whoever it is, let's give the people that are in our neighborhood a try. Hire them, give them a chance. Try to give them, impart some of your expertise, some of your skills. You know, you take a person that has no hope, they're dangerous. You know, you take, in this room here, you take hope out of our life, and man, what do we have to lose? These young people, younger than me, but younger people, you know, they need hope. And I think some of us in this room can impart that hope in these young people.
I think that as a community, we have to work together and we have to say, how do we want our community to look from this day forward, where everybody knows everyone. And like I said, you don't have to love them, you don't have to even like them, but you respect them because they're part of your community.
You know, I really think they've laid out a very good vision about what the values are. I think, you know, pretty much everyone who lives a place, spends a lot of time in a place, does feel these kind of things. But perhaps because of the demographic shift of the area, it's hard to know how to approach someone. You know, what matters to someone, what makes them feel included, what makes them feel cared for. I really like what you've put forward as a way that we can just start having conversations and caring about one another. So if we can all thank them. Thank you, Florence and Roslyn and Robin. Appreciate you.